Even with numerous movies, stage shows, and video games, in the past 30 years there have been no new Lupin III stories in the main arc. But in October, that all changes with a new series set in Italy. So it seems like the perfect time to test your knowledge about this beloved gentleman thief and give you 7 things you didn't know about Lupin III before Inspector Zenigata shuts us down. Lupin III is based on French author Maurice Leblanc's early 20th century stories of the gentleman thief Arsène Lupin. In fact, the manga notes that the title character Arsène Lupin III is actually his grandson. But Monkey Punch, Lupin III's creator, never sought permission from Maurice Leblanc's estate to use the name Arsène Lupin, which led to copyright issues when Lupin's popularity spread to North America and Europe. To get around this in English translations, they would do one of 2 things. Either change his name to Wolf, which is the literal meaning of the word Lupin, or they would use the Japanese pronunciation Rupin, which is not racist, I swear. Ironically, Leblanc had been on the opposite side of the copyright issue when he introduced Sherlock Holmes into a Lupin story a year into its run, and after receiving legal objections from Arthur Conan Doyle, he changed the name to Herlock Sholmes. That's not a joke, it's an actual thing. Lazy. Originally, Lupin III was only supposed to be a 3-month contract project for young manga artist Koto Katsuhiko. For reasons still unknown to Koto, his editor gave him the name Monkey Punch, and not wanting to make waves, he accepted his short-term moniker. Of course, we all know Lupin became a smash hit and has been such a staple in Japanese entertainment for so many decades that Koto has been stuck with the name Monkey Punch, even though he really dislikes it. He's explained that if Lupin III had only lasted the 3 months, the name Monkey Punch probably would have just disappeared. A successful manga and anime in exchange for a terrible nickname? Seems like a fair deal to me. From now on, call me Slappy McWafflepants. Most of you probably know that celebrated anime auteur Hayao Miyazaki worked on the Lupin III TV show and directed the movie The Castle of Cagliostro. But what you might not know is how early and major Miyazaki's influence was on Lupin. Back in 1971, after the 2nd episode of the original series aired in Japan, the production company TMS asked director Masaki Osumi to make some changes to the characters. When Osumi refused, he was fired and replaced by Isao Takahata and Hayao Miyazaki. They quickly made the changes the studio wanted and made some of their own, removing the dark, apathetic tone of the series by giving the characters more positive personalities. Lupin would become more upbeat, Fujiko would no longer come off as cheap erotica, and Jigen would become downright cheery. This made for a slightly more family-friendly version of the show compared to the manga, though Lupin is still considered the first animated series created for adults. But even though Miyazaki helped create the version of Lupin we all know and love, the first Lupin series was still cancelled after only 23 of the 26 episodes aired. As we just discussed, famed anime creator Hayao Miyazaki directed the Lupin III film The Castle of Cagliostro. The filmmakers, given a ludicrously tight production schedule, took only 4 months to complete the film, with most of the production staff living at the offices the entire time. Miyazaki has claimed that the schedule was so bad that during post-production, he had to alter the script to make the release date. While he's never revealed his original ideas for the script, he has expressed dissatisfaction with the completed film. Despite Miyazaki's discontent, Steven Spielberg has called the film one of the greatest adventure movies of all time. And Monkey Punch himself has singled Cagliostro out as one of the animated versions of Lupin he particularly liked. It seems like even the most prolific creators can be their own worst critics. Miyazaki's good guy anime Lupin is the Lupin most people outside of Japan know. But if you go back to the original manga, you might find a Lupin closer to Sean Connery's Bond than Roger Moore's.
Man talk.
In the original manga, Lupin might be the world's most skilled thief, but he's also kind of a dick. He's crude, remorseless, and overall, pretty rapey. There were quite a few occasions when Lupin would force himself on women who resisted him. Early on in the manga, we see him hopping in and out of bed with numerous women, most of whom, oddly enough, were named Fujiko. Fujiko later became the name of the female lead character in the series, but keep in mind all of Lupin's early flings were actually different women and not the Fujiko. While there are many films in Lupin the Third canon, the movie Lupin the Third: The Legend of Twilight Gemini has by far the most direct nods to fans, particularly the older audience. There were several scenes featuring a topless Fujiko, a scene with Laura bathing nude, and also this is the only Lupin film with a sex scene between Lupin and Fujiko that doesn't get interrupted on camera. Because of these adult scenes and themes, Funimation created an edited version of the film, though an unedited version was also available. When Funimation re-released Twilight Gemini as part of the First Haul box set, it was supposed to include the unedited version, but it contained the edited version instead. Luckily, those who had purchased the set and received the edited movie were able to get it replaced with the uncut version, and the mistake was corrected for later releases. And I didn't leave my bedroom for a month. In 1982, TMS and DiC had plans to create a Lupin III spin-off series, Lupin the Eighth. It would take place in the distant future and be targeted at younger audiences. Once again, copyright issues came into play, and the LeBlanc estate put the kibosh on the show before the first episode could even be finished. This was a major setback for DiC, who had already committed considerable capital to the project and had to quickly come up with a replacement show. Their Hail Mary came in the form of Inspector Gadget, and TMS even helped animate the show's first season. So in a way, you could say that the world's most incompetent cyborg detective would never have existed had it not been for Lupin III. Go-go gadget, copyright, lawyer, getting around stuff. And those are 7 things that you probably didn't know about Lupin III. Did we miss anything? Are you looking forward to watching the new Lupin series? Let us know in the comments below. Thanks for watching. Come back every Tuesday for new videos, and be sure to check out all of the great content right here on Anime Vice.